I always had a dream to write a song to completion and work with a real musician and real professionals, and it was amazing. It really was. I was born in St. Petersburg, Russia, and my family came to New York in '89, and I grew up in Brooklyn. Ever since I could remember, I was a performer. I loved dancing and theater, and I did it since I was like 3. As soon as I could walk, I was dancing and performing and singing. And later on, I got into writing and photography, and it just always came naturally to me. I grew up with my mom, just the 2 of us, and she wasn't really very musical. We didn't have any music in the house. My father, when I would see him, he mostly played this traditional Italian music and other European music, which sounded very odd to me back then as a child, and I never really enjoyed it. I kind of just had it on in the background. I really discovered music on my own. I pretty much just listened to whatever I could find, and in the beginning, when I was maybe 8 or 9, it was mostly R&B and pop, because that was what was readily available. And I would just blast Toni Braxton and Blackstreet in my living room and sing and dance like a crazy person. Yeah, so That was my first intro to music, I would say.
What inspires you to write music?
Well, I've always written poetry, fiction, and to me, music kind of falls in with that. It's about self-expression, saying things that you can't really say otherwise. And when it comes to music, you can be a lot more abstract and creative about expressing yourself.
Every day I seem to move toward the same place where I stood.
So when did we meet? When did we start working together? Highlights of working together.
Well, we never...
Talk about me!
We actually met on the internet through a mutual friend while you were playing with One Word Song. And we just started talking, and we just kind of hit it off and became friendly. And then I think we met up in the city a few times, and I think we just started working together musically 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. I did do your photos for you at one point.
Yeah.
So we did that.
And I did a couple of, I think I loaned myself as a model for 1 or 2 things that you had done.
Yes,
like
you
before,
did.
Like even well before doing
That's
my
right.
pro pics. I've known for a while that Anna could sing. And when this project came along, she seized the opportunity to write a song for it. And that's when I recommended that she get with Andrew Reynolds to put some music to it.
Well, she's never done music before. She is an artist, so she I think she has the right mindset to do it. And she's been writing poetry, I believe, for a really long time. She's great at that. And seeing her grow through this experience has been awesome. She's really come a long way from being pretty shaky in the beginning to really being able to stand on her own 2 feet now, and I think she really killed it. And it's been cool that, as I said before, we've gone from having a relationship as I'm in a band, you're a photographer, to now we're friends, Mm-hmm.
I came in here with the lyrics already finished, and I had a melody in mind. And initially, I sang it to Andrew, who then took it and played around with it for a bit on his own. And then when we met up again, we started really putting the song together, and I really loved what he did with it. We recorded the song for the first time just on an iPad, and before Andrew pressed record, he said, "All right, you know that you're gonna hate how you sound, right? You're gonna hate it." And I laughed and I said, "Yeah, I know, I've heard that. I've heard myself before." And he's like, "All right, but that means that you're good if you hate it." I said, "Okay, great." So that was really good, because I was like, okay, good, it's not just me.
Time goes on, I get older.
The fact that it was recorded analog, I feel really, really accomplished, because there's no auto-tune, you have to really get it right the first time. And for somebody like me who has never done this before, it was a really big challenge, and I'm really proud of myself for doing it. I feel like my fear could have overtaken the experience, and I didn't let that happen. So it's a big personal accomplishment for me.
And John and I wouldn't let you let that happen. I've been friends with Anna for years now, so I can spot some of the more personal aspects in her work, and that's what's endeared me to It's Been a While, because I've seen that side of her in conversation as well. What's been the most exciting parts of this project so far?
I would have to say the first time that I ever went into the recording booth. Now that was actually here in the tantrum room, but
The booth.
the booth right there. And that was the first time where I ever went into a professional booth and put on the headphones and stood in front of the mic. And it was such an adrenaline rush. I'm never going to forget that feeling, ever.
Are there any local or lesser known artists or musicians that you enjoy?
There's this one band that I discovered a few years ago that was a local Brooklyn band called Blackwater Rising. And I hear that they're acquiring some fame now, so good for them. Of course, you've worked with a few bands that I thought were awesome. Pyroclast and Precious Roy now, with Andrew on the vocals. I think that's pretty sweet. I recently did a gallery show with Gruber Photographers, who are a group of photographers in the city who do weddings and events and a lot of other things. These are people who've been working for 20 plus years. Tilly Blair, who is a newer photographer, is really creative, and I really admire and respect her work. And of course, Terry Gruber, the owner, comes from an artistic family and just has an amazing portfolio. And then there are many photographers who I know personally, acquaintances and friends who I admire a lot. I am primarily a photographer, and I've done a few projects that I'm really proud of. Currently, I'm working on opening an online store, selling my prints on Etsy.com. It's called AnnaSirotaPhotos, so you can check it out.
The artist is Anna Sirota. The album is Johnny Rock and Friends for the record. We'll see you soon. Rock on.